All right, hello guys, welcome back. Today is February 10th, 7 p.m. Tuesday. I guess NFP tomorrow on a Wednesday, which is very interesting. We'll talk more about that, but yeah, I mean NFP is usually the first Friday of the month, and then I think it was postponed until this week, but then it was on a Wednesday and then CPI on a Friday. So pretty interesting. But yeah, let's do a quick recap and outlook for tomorrow. Starting off with NQ. NQ has been consolidating, and upon further look, I think I understand why, and I've set like some type of ground rule um, to help me trade this consolidation. And I actually did take a trade today, which I mean I'm happy I I took it and I got a win, which I'll show, but at the same time, not the best trades to be entering just because it's a lot more low probability as we are in equilibrium and inside of a consolidation. But essentially, the trade I took was we had a rate of consolidation highs here inside of this 4 hour, I think it was an inversion. Yep, 4 hour inversion. No, actually, a 4 hour bearish gap right here, which also I guess aligned with this bearish fair value gap here. And then on the 15-minute, I I saw a sweep of high failing to go higher. There was the SMT here, and I saw how we flipped this candle bearish. So I decided to enter from here just to the low right here. And you can look at MNQ too for the full execution. Yep, right there. And I mean, it did work out. And I decided to take my full position off here just because I learned my mistake from yesterday. I understand that we're in a consolidation, and it was also like 7:30 a.m., so not the most optimal time for me to be entering. And I only did enter with one micro. So yeah, I just didn't scale, or I didn't, extend my take profit levels just because I understood that it was a little bit more low probability. Now, why I understand now this is low probability is again, we are inside of this consolidation, but we're also inside of this equilibrium. And how we've been playing consolidation is very similar to this 1 hour where we had a consolidation break in one clear side, then move lower. That's kind of how we're playing it on the higher time frame. You want to see a break, a clear break outside of this consolidation in one direction, and then look to trade in the opposite direction. Potentially, maybe we have a market structure shift and continue in that direction. We'll have to see. But that's been the idea lately. And ideally, too, you don't want to be trading too close to equilibrium. You want to, you want some space away from equilibrium so you can have a nice trade because price tends to get choppy around equilibrium. If you go and do your back testing, you can see every time you visit an equilibrium level, there's some type of choppiness involved. Um, but yeah, what I'm expecting for NFP tomorrow is I'm expecting that to be the manipulation that gets us outside of this range so we can continue in one direction. Now, just because we're holding at this level and we keep wanting to move a little higher, I do think NFP will manipulate higher, maybe up here, back up here, maybe in this bearish order block, maybe in this rejection block, or maybe at the top of the consolidation highs. And then from there, maybe I'll look to short if we get confirmation. But also we could very realistically also see a move lower inside a rejection block, and then from there move higher if we get that confirmation. So yeah, just watching for now. But I mean, yeah, an idea I'm watching for is something like this, and then from there maybe continue moving lower. Yeah, looking at the dollar. Dollar found bearishness off this FEG as mentioned, and it traded down into here, and then we wanted to see a bounce back, and I mean we started seeing some type of reaction off of it. This might be an SMT here with I think, what is it? The US what was that? I forgot what it was called. Um, if I remember, I will be sure to include it next time. Um, I don't remember it. It was like US something, right? Yeah, yeah, the US 10-year, sorry. Maybe with like the US 10-year or the 2-year, one of the US years. Could be an S&T. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, I mean we're getting this move higher. We have this FEG we're kind of respecting, and we have this inversion we're inverting currently. Maybe if we break above this high and find support off of it, that would be a market structure shift. And then this will start to align with our bearish NQ. Um, yeah, but maybe NFP takes a dip lower before continuing higher. We'll have to see what NFP wants to do tomorrow. I mean, it is a very, very interesting week because I've never personally seen an NFP on Wednesday, I don't think. So, yeah, very new, very interesting times. And then, on the other hand, you have ZB bullish breaking above the consolidation high. So, this is the highest it's been since last month. And if it goes up to here, then it'll be since like the past 2, 3 months. So I think we're at a pretty interesting spot right now. I mean, this is ideally what we look for, what I was talking about on NQ, a clear break outside of the direction. Um, and then look for it to move back down into the direction that we're watching for, back into the range. And I mean, NQ, this would align with that bearish NQ if we do get that. So I'll be mindful of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we continue higher into into these FEGs right here, into this imbalance. And yeah, I'll just watch, if we break this high, then maybe this, and then if we break that, then the high. Um, it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out and what NFP does. But yeah, I recommend being very careful, very calculated. I recommend waiting until after NFP, seeing the clear manipulation that NFP brings, and then trying to enter on the distribution if possible. Hope you found this insightful. Take care, be safe.